What's up guys, this is Cheap Ass Statue Collector here today, and today I got a really cool diorama that I wanted to show for a little minute now. This is the Catwoman versus Batgirl DC Direct diorama. It's not quite 1/6 scale, but it's pretty close. And let's go ahead and kick it off with the grading. I give a pose, this statue pose a C, just because it's not one piece, it's three separate pieces. And I guess it is cool because you can pose them however you want, but there's not too much to it. It's very simple, and that's the key word that you guys want to pay attention to when I'm grading this thing, because everything about it is kind of simple, and it's got its pros and its cons because of that. So this is Catwoman vs. Batgirl statue, 458 out of 1500. Here's this is basically the base. There's nothing written underneath their capes. There's just the little pads to hold them up. The cool thing about their the pose, why doesn't it get anything worse than that, is because they are very dynamic poses. They are attacking each other, and it's really cool how the capes are kind of holding their the statues in the air. You know what I mean? They're resting on their capes. So it's a really cool pose. It would have been cooler if it was one piece and it had an actual base. So the bases really add a lot to dioramas. So this is basically just like, these are basically single statues. So it is a DC Direct statue, versus statue, but to me it's like three little pieces. So let's move on to the paint. The paint gets an A. It's simple. So there's not too much shading going on. There's little details here and there, right? So I kind of like it that there's not too much shading and all kinds of crazy details going on. It's very simple. They both are very simple, and they both look spot on. There's one paint flaw that I've noticed, and it's on her batarang that she's holding up. That's the only real paint flaw that I've spotted on these things. So it's very simple. It's very nice looking. The paint for Catwoman and Batgirl contrast each other nicely. It's a really cool colored statue. Let's go ahead and talk about the sculpt detail. The sculpt detail gets a B, just because I like how they're sculpted. But there's a minor flaw with Catwoman, with Batgirl's eyes. Her head isn't looking kind of directly at Catwoman. It's kind of looking up, and her eyes are also kind of looking up as well. And it kind of takes away from the statue being a versus statue, because she's not really looking at her. If I put them like that, Catwoman is looking directly at Batgirl now, but Batgirl's kind of looking up and above her head. So it kind of takes away from the statue. So the way I pose them is kind of get them like this, like they're both fighting for the treasure chest and stuff like that. Other than that, though, it's simple sculpts, which I like a lot. I think they came out really nice, especially Catwoman. I think she basically steals the show versus Batgirl. She's sculpted really, really nice. And for DC Direct versus statues, these are nice because most of them are dudes, besides the Wonder Woman versus Superman and the Wonder Woman versus Ares. So it's nice to try to even out the bulge with some females. The price, it gets an A. Probably an A+, just because it's super cheap for, if you want to add to your DC versus line. I picked this up for $100 on eBay. The cool thing about statue hunting is it's probably going to sell a little bit more for $100 on eBay, but depending on when people list this stuff, I think this was like at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. when the auction ended. And no one really paid attention to it. I was the only bid, and I got it for I think 111 or something like that, or 105, I don't remember. But if you can catch those bids when people aren't thinking about when they actually, you know, like at Monday morning at 5 a.m., you know, if an auction ends on that time, then you're pretty much going to get it at a really steal of a price, unless there's a shitload of watchers watching the statue that you're looking for. Alright, so right now I want to do a comparison for the size. And since this is the most popular DC versus statue, I wanted to go ahead and grab this and kind of show you the size dimensions versus Batman and Killer Croc. Now, they are tiny compared to him. They are female characters, but still, I think body portion wise, they're still very petite compared to Batman. But that's the size comparison to Batman. Batman's statue is a big statue, but let's see if we could get a better angle for you guys. Let's see here, so she's much smaller than Batman. So she's probably not in proportion to him, into that statue, because this statue, I think Batman's at least almost not 10 inches from his toe to his head. So, but that's the statue review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys appreciated it. Please stay tuned for the overview. Thanks.